Hello and welcome to CONMEBOL Qualifiers for the World Cup Matchday 11. We are back in our international break with our South American expert. Hello, Leo Bachanian. Really interesting, especially the fight for the 6th and 7th spot with Ecuador, Paraguay, Bolivia, and Venezuela, all of them only in 2 points.
Absolutely, Edu. It's very tight there for the 6th and the 7th place. Everything at the bottom is with everyone in 1, 2, or 3 points. But also we have an amazing games like Uruguay and Colombia on this match day 11, and we're getting ready for Brazil-Uruguay as well on match day 12. So very good things to look forward in these South American qualifiers.
Is the most interesting game for sure. This Uruguay-Colombia, remember, 6 teams go directly to the World Cup. The 7th are gonna play, or is gonna play a playoff later on. So guys, remember, of course, to leave your comments and press the like and subscribe to our channel. So Leo, let's go on now with the show. And the first game is Venezuela-Brazil. Venezuela out of the spots for the World Cup after so many weeks in the spots because they are winless in the last 6 games. But be careful, because at home they are still undefeated, and even Argentina couldn't win here in the previous break, whereas Brazil, Leo, they took some confidence in the win 4-0 against Peru, 2-1 in Chile, but still with some injury issues. Militao, Rodrigo this weekend, Paquetá out of form, and the big news is Vini Jr. is back with the Verde Amarela.
Yes, absolutely. It was a perfect October for Brazil, Edu. Those 2 wins, which makes them 3 in the last 4 for them. Brazil won twice in the same international window for the first time since September 2023. It's quite a very good turnaround for Brazil, that lost 4 of the first 8 matches in these South American qualifiers. They are now 4 points clear of 7th place Bolivia, and heading into match day 11. They know that a win on Thursday will move them 2nd, at least until Uruguay and Colombia played in Uruguay on Friday. Real Madrid duo Rodrigo and Eder Militao, they are out, and they will miss out on this Venezuela and also against Uruguay because of injury. Militao suffered a 2nd ACL injury, and he's in the last 15 months. Incredible. Vinicius scored against Osasuna, and he was even in tears. He scored a hat-trick, but he was still in tears seeing his teammate getting injured again on his knee. For Rodrigo, his injury is not as severe as with Militao. He's going to be a month out. So another one to missing out on this one will be 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏. Edu, is the first time in 2024 that 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 has not been called out for Brazil. I mean, there is a reason, and the reason is because he's not playing so far in Real Madrid lately. He haven't even played a single minute in the last 5 matches for Carleto Ancelotti, and that's why the reason the rival game of 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 not being called. There will be another teenager called anyway, is 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗀𝗏𝗏 scored on the weekend for Palmeiras to give them the winner against Grêmio. He's the goal scorer in the Brasileirão. He's also the assist leader in the Brasileirão. So no 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, but at least they will have another Palmeiras player in the case this is 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. With Chile in Santiago, anyway, 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 I remember played only 15 minutes, although the game was 1-1 when he came on. And then against what was the second one? Then on the second game, he only played 12 minutes against Peru, and he came on when the game was already 4-0 for Brazil. So, but anyway, it's not like the door is closed now for 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. For sure, we're gonna have him back at least in the friendlies in March, once he start getting on with more minutes. Against Peru, actually, was probably, Edu, the best game so far for Dorival Jr., or at least in 2024 or after the Copa America. especially the second half. Rafinha scored a brace. Rafinha resembling the level he's showing with Barcelona, and also Igor Jesus and Luis Enrique, these two Botafogo players getting on very well with the national team. Luis Enrique scoring the last one on the night. And Venezuela, you said it, Edu, they are winless in the last 6, but it's true that Uruguay went there to Marutin and they could only get a point. Argentina went to Marutin and they can only get a point. They won the first 2 in at home, Venezuela, but the last 3 in their home soil has been all draws for them. And with Uruguay, with Argentina, were difficult games to play at home because of the rain. It was almost unplayable, the surface for them. But to be honest, looking at the odds, you look at Brazil to win at 1.6 is good to take. It's good enough for me. Maybe closer to the date, I believe the odds gonna be a little bit lower for Brazil to win. So I will be looking here as well for goals over market. Goals over 2.5, odds of 2.1.
Yes, I think also we have good odds to back Venezuela somehow, perhaps with a nation handicap plus something. They haven't lost at home, so if they, for instance, +1 could be a good option, and even if they lose only by 1 goal, you can get your money back because I'm not sure if this Verde Amarela is still that favorite. It's 1.9, by the way, if you are backing the +1, for instance, the Asian handicap +1 for Venezuela. Venezuela fighting with Paraguay, for instance, for this 6th spot. The next game is Paraguay. Argentina, they are right now in the World Cup Paraguay after the key win against Chile, with Sanabria scoring both goals at home. Remember, they also beat Brazil a couple of months ago, undefeated in the last 4 since Colombia won in Asunción, and Argentina couldn't win, Leo, in this stadium. Last time in 2021, it was a draw, but we saw Argentina smashing Bolivia in the last game, and we are seeing finally Julián Álvarez still adapting to the Spanish football, but scoring some goals.
Yes, and yesterday he scored a goal to give Atletico Madrid the 3 points, although he was almost a tap-in after Giuliano Simeone passed him the ball. But the story of this match is definitely on Paraguay. Edu, if I said that 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀 managed a good turnaround, what to say about Gustavo Alfaro since he took over La Roja? They had just 5 points on the board, and qualification seemed like a very distant dream for them. But his arrival has changed everything with these 4 games unbeaten run and 8 points taken with a draw away against Uruguay and winning against Brazil at home on this 4 games unbeaten run. With Venezuela on Matchday 10, they won it from behind. They even had a penalty missed by Julio Enciso in the first half. That night in Asunción was a complete show of character, I would say, Edu, from the Albirroja. Enciso was down to tears after he missed that penalty, and Alfaro was shouting to him, "Do you want me to take you out?" And expecting the response he got. A player that dominated the second half and led his team to win, to a win that left them in that 6th position you mentioned. With Bolivia playing away in Quito, with Venezuela playing Brazil, even a defeat against Argentina will mean that Paraguay will still be in that 6th position spot after Matchday 11. You mentioned as well the goal-scoring hero against Venezuela, Antonio Sanabria, the Torino striker. He has 3 goals in the qualifiers, but those 3 goals gave Paraguay 6 points so far, because he also scored in October 2023 against Bolivia, the only goal of that match. So 3 goals, 6 points so far for Tony Sanabria. I believe he's going to start the game against Argentina. So then you have Diego Gomez, the Inter Miami defensive midfielder, plus Almirón on one side, Ramon Sosa on the other, Julio Enciso behind Tony Sanabria, and those are good names for Paraguay. The last match in Asunción was a 0-0 on the road to Qatar. On the road to Russia 2018, there was another 0-0. On the road to Brazil 2014, it was a strange result in Asunción. Argentina won 5-2 with Sabella as manager. But then on the road to South Africa and Germany, we had again goals under 2.5 on this fixture. There were another well, in those instances, 2010 and 2006, Paraguay won, but won by a small margin, 1-0. Won in Asunción. Paraguay also can take heart, Edu, that Argentina has managed just 1 point from their past 2 away qualifiers. They had a one draw in Maturín in Venezuela, and also the 2-1 defeat in Barranquilla against Colombia. Yeah, so match day 10, everything was perfect for Argentina in Buenos Aires. Messi scoring a hat trick against Bolivia. 𝐻𝐿𝐴 has his international debut with Argentina. He combined even with Messi to score the third of Messi's goal. Now this time he was called again. 𝐻𝐿𝐴, Buenanote is again on the list. He's having a very good season with Leicester. Personally, of course, Leicester is not doing very well. Yesterday they lost 3-0, but once again, Buenanote was the best man in the pitch for Leicester. We're gonna have I haven't seen him, to be honest, a lot, but we have another youngster being called for this 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀, and he's coming and he's playing for Valencia on loan from Aston Villa, 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀. So we will see. I don't think so he's gonna get minutes. Usually he's calling lately teenagers Scaloni just for them to have a look at how is life under the lights with Messi and company. Again, anyway, Argentina favorite, I believe here, Edu, to take the 3 points. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Messi. He's out of competition in the MLS. For a 37 years old, as much as you are Messi, to be 3 or 4 months without any official competition is not good. And we know that in the United States, they're not going to go back with the MLS up to February, March. So he's going to have to see what's going to happen with him. I remember David Beckham do you remember, to play in the Serie A, to play with Milan when they have this long break in the MLS. But I don't know, I can't see that happening maybe to Messi going back to Europe for a period of time, but it's something to look, because it's one thing is to have a rest or to recover from an injury, but something is completely different. You have like 3 or 4 months vacation. It's never good for a 37 years old. So since that Maracanã win for Argentina, we had mixed results: 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. But as I said, they are favorites here, and 175, Edu. 175, as much as I said with Brazil, 1.60 to win, it was good. Argentina to win in Asunción, 1.75 is something to take as well. Goals under 2.5, which is usually what we get in Asunción, is on 1.5. So if you look to take the odds a little bit higher, Argentina to score in first half, 1.90. And those trying to build on Gustavo Alfaro's form with Paraguay, double chance Paraguay, 2.15.
Okay, tricky games, these ones for Brazil and Argentina. Of course, they are favorite, but they are not easy, never easy to win away. In South America, we see it with Venezuela without defeat at home, and Paraguay only 1 defeat when they are playing in Asunción. Next game, Ecuador-Bolivia. Here, really low odds for Ecuador to win. Is around 1.1 after last away game for Bolivia, 6-0 in Argentina. But Bolivia, before this game, they were on fire. 3 consecutive wins. That's why they are right now in playoffs spot. But also, Ecuador is a very difficult team to beat at home. Last defeat was in 2021, and it's a team with low scoring games. Leo, last 7 games in the qualifications were under 2 goals in Ecuador.
Yes, and the last time at home was a 0-0 against Paraguay. Usually this fixture in Quito against Bolivia brings goals for Ecuador, and despite playing in the altitude of Quito, which we believe could make it a little bit even with Bolivia, that has not been the case in so far in history in the qualifiers between Ecuador and Bolivia. The last time in Quito, we saw a 3-0 win for 𝗏𝗏𝗏. There was a 1-1 draw on the road to United States in 1993, but from there Bolivia never even took a point from Quito. So we are at the back of 7 consecutive wins in qualifiers playing at home for Ecuador against Bolivia. That 6-0 thrashing defeat, yes, brought an end to those 3 consecutive wins for Bolivia, but they're still now in a playoff spot. They haven't drew a game yet because they have 4 wins and 6 defeats. For them, that's what these qualifiers is showing for Bolivia. To do it in Quito, I mean, to get a point at least will be a very good result for them, but I can't see that for Bolivia. Ecuador needs to start building a gap with the 7th place, and this is a good opportunity for them. At home so far, 3 wins and 2 draws for 𝗏𝗏𝗏. I'm not saying it should be easy for Ecuador. For instance, Bolivia has a better counter-attacking team than Paraguay, who traveled to Quito and took a point last time. But let's not forget that despite winning 3 consecutive qualifiers between Matchday 7 and Matchday 9, Bolivia's win against Chile in Santiago was the first away win in an official match for Bolivia since 1993. The 0-0 in Montevideo was not seen as a bad result for Ecuador. Edu, Matchday 10. Sebastián 𝗵𝐿 used a back 4 on the night, but I think a back 5, I'm sorry, on the night, but I think we should see 𝗀𝗵𝗏𝗀𝗏 playing from the start instead of Minda, this time at home. Moises Caicedo arrived to this game as the best holding midfielder of the Premier League so far this season. With Rodri out injured, no one has played better than Caicedo so far. I'm happy for everyone in Chelsea just starting to see the real Caicedo. With the national team, Caicedo has played with a little bit more freedom to arrive to attacking positions too. I remember when N'Golo Kanté started to play as number 8 because Sarri wanted Jorginho as his holding midfielder, and Kanté did brilliant and scored goals as well. Well, I can see something similar happening to Caicedo in the future. For Bolivia, the match in Argentina was finished in the first half when Julián Álvarez scored the third one almost few seconds before the break. That was the end for Bolivia. The odds are completely against them. I will be looking to Ecuador to win 2-0, 1.83. I'm not talking of big margins. You mentioned, Edu, all those goals under 2.5, the games at home for Ecuador. But Ecuador to win 2-0, 1-0 could be enough. 2-0 could be enough. So Ecuador to win 2-0, 1.83, and also half-time, full-time market, both times Ecuador 1.62.
Indeed, be careful if you go for Asian handicap here, since Ecuador don't score plenty of goals, only 6 goals scored and 4 goals conceded in these qualifiers for the World Cup. Next game, best one in this international break, Uruguay, Colombia, and
nice one.
Uruguay with really low odds. I would say they are favorite for this game. Remember, they haven't found the net in the last 4 games.
Yes.
3 goalless draws in these 4 games, since also this controversy with Luis Suarez and Bielsa. We saw Núñez, Leo also missing some chances at the wicket, also scoring, but also missing some chances, and it's going to be an interesting battle with the other Liverpool player, much more informed, Luis Diaz, shining. Also Colombia, despite that defeat in Bolivia, in the altitude of Bolivia, they are doing a great qualification. Also, they did a great Copa America, and overall, I don't see Colombia as the underdog here, to be honest.
No, absolutely. And to see, I had to close and open again the window on Ospita when I saw that Colombia was odds of 4, going to Montevideo. But that's the reality. Is going to be the revenge of that very heated Copa America semifinal in the United States this summer. And these are crunchy games for Uruguay, Edu, because We have Colombia now on Friday for them, and then it's a trip to Brazil to play the Verde Amarela. It's very strange to see this Uruguay not having scored in the last 4 matches, in which they drew 3 and they lost 1. If you add the Copa America, Uruguay is 7 matches without a win. On match day 10, the 0-0 at home with Ecuador, they were booed after the 90 minutes. So if in Uruguay they are craving for at least 3 points in this doubleheader, yes, someone can point out that okay, but Brazil is given chances now disqualified at home against teams which we haven't thought they were going to take points from them in home soil. For example, Venezuela took a 1-1 at the beginning of the qualifiers away in Brazil. But if Uruguay travels to Brazil and it's the Uruguay that plays so poorly against Peru, for instance, in their last away match in Lima, they will go back to Montevideo with 3 in the bag. So their certainty at this moment for Uruguay leaves them with the urgency to having to win for me on Friday night. With Ecuador, yes, they had a good performance, at least in the first half. They deserved to open the scoring. They weren't effective in attack. Darwin, yes, hit the post. Fede Valverde had a good chance with the free kick. At least we saw in those 35 first minutes things that we got used to see in Uruguay with Bielsa, glimpses of we saw from them, especially last year, maybe without the brilliance of 2023, but see with that intensity. But in the second half, it's like they lost the engine. I don't know if they got tired or what happened, but the reality is that they couldn't create chances. They had the ball, but nothing happened in Ecuador's box. At least the head-to-head in Montevideo favors Uruguay, and that's why I believe the odds are this massive for Colombia. In qualifiers at home, they played 10 times, and Uruguay won 6, and Colombia just 1. And that one win for Colombia away in Montevideo happened more than 50 years ago. That was in July 1973, the last time that Colombia won away to Uruguay for a World Cup qualifier. And Uruguay at home has taken 11 out of the 15 points they have played in that condition, and Colombia has taken 6 points of the 15 points they played away from home. Against Chile on match day 10, the second half was a masterclass from Colombia. It was 4-0, but it could have been 7 or 8 easily. There were moments where Colombia they were on the break 4-1 or 5-2, and they couldn't score. John Duran scored coming from the bench. Luis Diaz also put his name on the score sheet. Lucho has scored already 9 goals in all competition for Liverpool this season, has 4 goals on the road to 2026. Bielsa will have the return of Bentancur, who yesterday scored a goal in Tottenham's defeat, his first goal in 9 months. Colombia won't have Jefferson Lerma, at least for the first match, because he's suspended. So, yes, to see those odds of 4 on Colombia must be tempting, I would say, for many, and it is for me. I mean, Edu, if there is a time of making money on Colombia to win away, despite these 51 years without winning away, it should be this time. At the same time, I believe, and we mentioned this goal scoring draw from Uruguay, but the options on both teams the goal scorers, the attacking options of both sides are massive, are great, and the draw for Uruguay cannot continue forever as well. And the chances they were there, I said, Darwin is hitting the post against Ecuador, Fede Valverde coming close as well, Nico de la Cruz. So that's why, despite those 360 minutes without scoring for Uruguay, I'm more inclined to look at goals over in this match. Goals over 2.5 has odds of 2.55, but again, those odds of 4 on Colombia to win as well are something not to miss out, maybe.
Okay, well, difficult to read what is gonna happen in this game in Montevideo, but really good odds if you wanna back Colombia. In my opinion, really the underdog for this game. Very open. The next one, the worst two teams in the continent, is gonna be very difficult for them to go to the World Cup, even if the road is so long, but they are many points away. Peru is 6 points away from Bolivia. Chile is 7. So if they want to do something, Leo, they must win this game. And the only win in the road to the World Cup for Chile was against Peru in October 2023, 2-0, playing at home. Peru beat Uruguay in the last home game, if you want to be optimistic, but I guess we shouldn't see many goals in this one.
No, not really, Edu. And to be honest, is well, the parity on the books is almost there. I wouldn't trust, to be honest, neither of them at some point. Here, Ricardo Gareca is showing that he has more lives than Ivan Juric in Roma, Edu, although this is for another time,
it's
but
over.
It's over. It's over. I know. They lost 6 of the last 7 qualifiers. Chile, the other one was 0-0 at home against Paraguay. And when they won against Peru 2-0, the manager was Eduardo Berizzo on that time. The game in Barranquilla was a performance from a team that is absolutely lost and not fighting for the manager, or that the manager is lost himself too and doesn't know which button to press. Edu Vargas was a solitary offensive reference against Colombian center back. If the idea was for him to hold up the ball and allow the plate for the midfielders to arrive, nothing like that happened. Chile did not register a single shot on goal on the first half. Darío Osorio and Victor Dávila on the flanks were only concerned with stopping the Colombian fullbacks, and they only managed that for the first 20 minutes. It's true that Davinson Sanchez was quite lucky to score the 1-0, but if there was a moment that symbolized, I believe, the status of this Chile, that happened in the second half. When Gareca, trying to change something, introduced Marcelo Morales for Galdames, and Lorenzo already winning 1-0, he brought on John Duran to the game. So it shows you that the gulf in talent pool available for Chile and for Colombia was there for everyone to see. And then on top of that, if you shoot yourself on the foot trying to build from the back when you shouldn't, like it happened in the second goal, then you are hitting for a nightmare, and that's what happened to Chile. So they're at the bottom of the qualifying table, and rightly so, because they don't play well. They haven't shown anything convincing so far, and they don't score goals. In this run of 7 games without winning, they just scored twice. La Roja, and going into Lima, nothing invites supporters to believe. La Roja is the worst away team in this 2026 qualifier in South America. 5 games and 5 losses for them. In those 5 away defeats, they conceded 14 times. Can Peru score at least 3 against Chile, like almost everyone else when Chile plays away? Well, I'm not that sure, because Peru scored at least... has scored only 3 goals in 5 matches at home so far. So to see them scoring 3 past Chile, that would be maybe too much asking for them. But at least the last time they played at home, and you mentioned, was a 1-0 win against Uruguay, and they won fairly on the night. So the goals market is the under here, the under 2, a 1-0 or a 0-0 draw, which shows odds of 1.87. But I will point as well, Edu, to a first half draw in this Peru-Chile, odds of 1.93. And I also will look at the corners market on that 2-0 in the reverse fixture. We had 14 corners on the night, 8 for Chile and 6 for Peru. This time corners over 8, odds of 1.83.
I guess we don't expect a thriller, and probably it's the last train to Mexico, US, and Canada. But anyway, even if they win, it's going to be very difficult for both, for Peru or Chile, the Pisco Derby, Leo, to qualify for for the World Cup, a big battle for which country owns the pisco sour. Great cocktail, by the way. Well, guys, remember that you can make your own tips, of course, in our platform, in 𝗀𝗏𝗍, and you can even participate in our tipster competition. So I encourage you to try it. It's for free, and you can win some cash prizes. Leo, also remember that we are on Discord, you that I know that you like social media, X, and so on. So before we finish the video, of course, I want to know your safe bet, Leo.
Venezuela, Brazil, goals over 1.5, odds of 1.32, Edu.
Let's see if we see Vini Jr. dancing again as he did for Real Madrid on Saturday. And your ACCA?
Brazil to win, Ecuador, Bolivia, goals over 2.5, and Uruguay, Colombia, both team to score yes. All this leaves an ACCA of 5.1.
All right, let's enjoy, as always, this very competitive, difficult to predict, we must say, South American football. See you next week. Leo, bye-bye. Thank you.